Get a look at the batting card here, Mel, and a lot of depth, isn't there? We saw that heroic knock by Karen KC down at number 9, but he got support, didn't he? From Gulshan Jha, who played so well. Sandy Plamachani hung about with them for a bit too, and even Rajbanshi will hold up an end. So Nepal will just not worry too much about the required run rate and keep themselves in this contest. They're in control right now.
Yeah, they are, and will have taken real confidence from the depth of their batting lineup that stood up in that match a couple of days ago against Scotland. Oh, flamingo flick.
Yeah, outstanding from Sharkey. That's going to race all the way. Longest corner of the ground, over 70 metres up there. And Michael Levitt, well, he's just worked away into the leg side.
Yeah, just over pitched, angled in a little bit too straight. But it's played with some panache by Bim Sharkey. By a long way out there. Long way. Talk about where the threat comes through. And Klein actually looked, he did look a little threatening earlier. He certainly kept things tight. I don't know how many games you said he's taken at least 2 wickets, Lenny.
10 consecutively. He didn't bowl as well with the new ball. It was really funny. Both Brandon McMullen and Kyle Klein had similar series. I think one of the games McMullen got a couple up top, but the other games it was actually their threat coming back, which you wouldn't expect necessarily with their pace and bowling style. Got him. And Levitt loves it. He's such a competitor as this man. And the youngster, Michael Levitt, has taken the big wicket. It's the wicket of Kushal Bertel. And it's a massive moment in the match.
Well, we wondered where the threat was going to come from, where the danger was. And the danger was in the shape of Michael Levitt. Bertel was just starting to wind up, just starting to look dangerous. And he departs for 25. And Nepal have lost their second wicket for 63.
Well, here it is. We're going to see it from the reverse angle. Just a little nip backer, was it? Let's see if we can bring you the other angle, Mel, because don't know if there was any bat involved, was there? Did he chop it on? Or we're obviously a little limited with our cameras today, but
yeah, and where we're seated is about long leg, perhaps. So it is very tricky to see from here.
I think we're going to have the drinks break. We'll try and bring that replay after this. We'll take a break here too in the commentary box, right on the stroke of that drinks break. Nepal have lost their second, and it maybe makes that first session honours even. Road Powell to the crease, the captain of Nepal. He's in at number 4. I suspect we'll see a period of consolidation and rebuilding with that dismissal of just got confirmation. We can't bring you that replay from the far end, but it was a nip backer. It's nipped off the surface. So great piece of skillful bowling from Michael Levitt. Just his 3rd ODI wicket in his career, and brings the score to 63 for 2. Bit for Scotty Edwards, or should I say Max O'Dowd, because Scotty Edwards off the field, is that Levitt's kind of one of the 3 bits and pieces bowler they'll look to piece together the final 10 overs from. You'd expect 10 apiece for Van Meekeren, for the returning Vic, who's coming back into the attack, for Roelof van der Merwe, who's actually tended to be used later in the innings, and then for Big Paul Van Meekeren. But then basically the strategy for the Dutch continues to be, we'll piece together our 5th bowling option between Zach Lyon Cachet's off breaks, between the medium of Michael Levitt, and don't let Vijay Singh be on a ball as well. Don't think we'll see any of Max O'Dowd's leg break today. But it's an interesting strategy. It means it gives them the chance to have 7 batters. Got Mel Farrell rejoining me. Mel, your tablet was nearly blown away there a second ago. Literally.
That's not the first time that my tablet has been blown over by the wind.
So come on, Mel. We talked about that football analogy of, these fancy Dan footballers who are brilliant down on a summer's day in Anfield or Wembley or Brighton and Hove, Albion, or wherever they're playing. But can they do it on a tough Tuesday night up in the north, in Sunderland or in Middlesbrough?
Hey, forget that. What about the commentators? They're in their cushy commentary boxes.
No, hold on. John, there was a great clip of John Motson back in the day in the sheepskin coat with a sideways blizzard and standing out there. What's our cricketing equivalent? Are we baptising the cricketing equivalent as being, well, you might be able to do it in Lords or the Oval or the MCG or down in Newlands in Cape Town or the Kensington Oval in Barbados, but can you do it on a 50-kilometre-per-hour day in Dundee, the 2nd most northerly ODI ground in the world?
Sitting at long leg.
Not the broadcast, the plane. The plane. No one cares about the broadcasters.
No, I mean, sitting at long leg, just trying to look out there. You do it brilliantly, Leonard. But yes, Lenny.
Well, I knew you're on the brink of losing your mind. You've been on the brink of losing it all day. In fact, you just called me Leonard, sums that all up.
Oh, mate.
You're literally on the edge, aren't you? We have been pushed to the brink today. I will give you the sparing parity.
The amazing thing is I've gone from the outskirts of Rome where it was 27 degrees and I was in my ICC polo and a skirt and thinking that, this is about as good as it gets as far as conditions go. You go from that to this. So it's not just the players who have to be able to perform in all conditions.
It's from the sublime to the ridiculous. 3 runs from Kingma's comeback over. A good one. It's 66 for 2. Just a reminder on this points table here, Mel. We officially passed the halfway stage, actually, now. I believe, or very thereabouts. Maybe somebody would do me a match counter on this tournament. I think we're right around the halfway stage. I'll get you an exact count in a moment. And Nepal, with that 7-game advantage in terms of the games that they can catch up over Canada and Namibia in particular, is Stuart Law looking at the table and going, hold on, we're only 12 points behind Canada. We've got 7 games in hand over them. All of the kind of rumours of the demise may have proved a bit in the air, but it's going to race away for a couple. Arjan Dutt's on the field now. What's that great quote? Rumours of my demise were overstated.
Greatly exaggerated.
Greatly exaggerated.
Yes.
Oscar Wilde, was it?
Oscar Wilde.
Another Irishman.
Yeah, I was about to say, you should know your fellow Irishman.
Well, are the rumours of Nepal's ODI demise greatly exaggerated? Or potential demise?
I've been saying this for a while. I just have said from the start, just look at the number of matches played, because that's so significant. The only thing that can happen, perhaps, is for teams, because they are so far behind and they haven't played as many matches. There might be that pressure on them to, right, we've got to win these matches now because we're so far back, even though we have matches in hand. But certainly, I think Stuart Law will be telling them, look at this column here, not this column here, because we're going to make our way up the table.
Got the quote horribly wrong. It's not Oscar Wilde.
Oh, isn't it?
And I know Bertus will message me any second. Mark Twain it was.
Ah, of course.
And actually, the phrase rumours of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. Whilst it is often attributed to Mark Twain, apparently the quote's not even right. The quote is actually taken. Levitt's got 2. And it's a giveaway. It's a second soft dismissal in 2 innings from Bim Sharkey. And they can hardly catch Michael Levitt, such as his euphoria. He's a real competitor, as are the Dutch. They always find a way, whatever total they have on the board, of scrapping away. That's a big, big wicket.
It really is. We saw Bim Sharkey play a very similar shot and be rewarded with a boundary. But on that occasion, the little flamingo flick just sees him take a dive. Well, Levitt, would you have predicted him to be the danger man? There it is, whips his hands through it, but straight to the fielder. Oh, he did have a bit of work to do. It's a good take in the end. That'll get the Dutch fans smiling, because the 3rd wicket has fallen. And Nepal now 68 for 3.
And the cardiac kids are at it again. Pulse rates, heart rates, blood pressure rates raising across the beautiful land of Nepal. 30 million plus go, oh no, not again. Really looked as though they were in so much control, didn't they, for much of that first session. Right on the stroke of drinks, and now immediately after drinks, they've lost 2 and 3 overs, both going to the rather innocuous medium pace of Michael Levitt. He's just so wholehearted in his effort, though.
Oh, and with Crows keeping up to the stumps, it's just adding to that feeling of jeopardy as well. Keeping the pressure on the new batter. Sheikh coming in. Arif Sheikh, of course, 2 shakes in the side.
And this is, in many ways, a litmus test, an acid test now, to get to the end of the 16th, 68 for 3. The 2nd wicket for Michael Levitt. Nepal have pulled off a miraculous victory 2 days ago in their customary style and manner. Can they now, with the going looking a little tough, with the run rate required now higher than the run rate that they're going at, and with their history of fragility when chasing, can they do it against a Dutch side that is going to throw everything at them? In many ways, this win today would almost be more important and more impressive than the one 2 days ago, because it will show that 48 hours ago was no fluke, and it wasn't just a one-off performance from a Karen Casey inspired side. So for Powell and Sheikh, they have time to start a partnership, and they've plenty of batting to come. But you do just get the sense again, don't you, that even if Nepal are going to get there, they're going to be doing it in real drama.
They only know one way. Can you believe my first match commentating on Nepal was 2 days ago? I'm wanting that every time, Lenny.
Well, a great message from a long-standing friend of mine. And he goes, "This is why I love Nepal more than any sporting team in the world." This was after the game 2 days ago. I won't tell you where he's from, but he's a big cricket fan. And he goes, "It is sheer madness every time they play. Whether winning or losing, whether playing brilliantly or terribly, you can't take your eyes off them. And you just never really know what's going to happen."
Wonderfully entertaining side. Give me that any day over boring clinical.
Professional.
Yeah.
You don't want clinical professional cricket. You want drama. Tell you the one man who head coach prior to the last two, he's actually 3 head coaches ago, Dav Watmore, 4 head coaches ago. My God, where's the time gone? Monty Desai, the second incarnation of Pupudu Dasanayak as Nepal head coach, and then the very short-lived tenure of Manoj Prabhakar. Dav Watmore picked this young man at the crease as he'd already been picked as a 15-year-old for the World Cup qualifier in 2018, but started picking him regularly in the 11 as a 17-year-old Rohit Paudel, or an 18-year-old maybe he was at that point. And he said, "This is the one batter that I have at my disposal who never gives it away." It's ironic because he got out to a soft shot the other day, but these kind of conditions, difficult conditions, are tailor-made for him in terms of his approach to his cricket. He's got that kind of Joe Root or Kane Williamson ability to not really notice the scoreboard and to play in a similar manner, whatever the scenario. His game's evolved hugely as well. Very adept now in the T20 game. And his wicket is the one that the Dutch will prize maybe the most of them all remaining.
Yeah, he certainly adds an aura of calm to proceedings, and I think that's almost what you're referring to with a Root and a Williamson. There is just this feeling of calmness when he comes into bat. He made 37 in a game 2 days ago before really giving away his wicket, just chipping it to the fielder. They'll look to him now. And a couple of balls ago, I don't know if you saw, Kingma actually got all the way down and pulled out of his run-up. I think it might have been the wind. I almost think he was blown off his run-up by the wind.
Well, that would have definitely been a bit concerning for those watching back in the Netherlands, because it was a pretty nasty pull-up when he was approaching the crease in the same way in the penultimate game for the Netherlands at Utrecht. And I didn't think he was going to be here. It had the look of a hamstring niggle that would have ruled him out of this. The Dutch are matching them. It's another maiden. 17 have been bowled, 68 for 3. Michael Levitt's going to continue. He's found those 2 wickets. Just had a question come in on, actually from a close pal of mine, I won't name him. There's a reason why. He says, "To let you know, we're hearing heavy audio of moving steel table or chair." So just to explain to you what's going on, we've had a weather warning here today in Dundee. That weather warning was for winds ranging between 30 and 60 kilometres per hour, gusts of more than that. At one point we had a squall rain shower that stopped the contest. We had the heavy bales that are in use by the umpires, and that noise you're hearing is that of our marquee around us, which is canvas and metal, and the wind is just buffeting us. I'm afraid there's nothing we can do at all. And yeah, that's going to be something you'll hear a little bit in the background. We'll try our best to manage it, and we're trying our best to stay on air right now, to be honest with you. It's been a really challenging day. And despite the really bright sunshine we're now being treated to, it's pretty chilly and pretty difficult right here in Bratífer.
I think pretty chilly is an understatement. I like to think if you can hear the creaking and the metal poles banging against each other, that you're here with us in spirit and sharing our fears of a marquee tumbling down around our ears.
Well, that fan James Schumacher who messaged saying it sounds like you're at the base camp of Everest. There is a little bit of a visual of that, isn't there? And it is climbing season. It is expedition season. We've seen the queues up Everest again in tow.
Oh, it just looks so deceptive, I think, on TV. It's deceptive to us when you look out. Looking out the window this morning, I was thinking, this it actually looks better this morning. It's quite bright. Maybe in the sunshine it'll be nice and warm.
Great message from Bishwash on Twitter. He says, #CWCL2. Given that Nepal will qualify for the T20 World Cup in India and Sri Lanka, and the quality of spinners Nepal has for the conditions, we're going to eye the Super 8s for sure. Our fans will travel visa-free. The Nepalese are working there. Oh boy, just hold on to
that. Well, look. World Cup, getting to the Super 8s. You know, it's not a pipe dream. It's always going to be a big story, but it's just not out of the realms of possibility at all, particularly in that format. So, I will hold on to my hat. It's currently keeping my ears warm, and it's not even my hat, but it'll be special.
End of the 18th over. Lots of dots right now. Nepal are soaking up in the you're coming back, maybe even arguably into the ascendancy in this game. Hold on to your hats. We've got another thriller in our hands. 18 ball, 70 for 3. Just got a couple more questions, but I'm going to get to those quickly. Asking me, hi Lenny, sorry for the naive question. How much involvement is there between the coach and captain during on-field decisions during the game? It's a really good question, not naive at all. There has been a change to the playing conditions, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, meaning that the coach can come out at the drinks breaks now. And we saw Monty Desai put on the substitutes bib, didn't we, and walk around the grounds getting messages on via the fielders. But in all, man who's in control the playing field and it's such a strategic element. The overthrow is going to allow the single from Shariz Ahmed. There's such a strategic element to cricket. The captain in cricket is almost a bit more like a manager, isn't he, in football or in rugby or another sport? And you look at how important the captain is, and with Scott Edwards not being able to be out there, I know Max O'Dea is doing a good job here deputising, but we've seen players sometimes almost picked just for their captaincy, such as the importance of it.
It's an unusual sport in a way, cricket. I don't think there are too many sports where the captaincy has the huge amount of influence that it does in cricket.
Parak, who is clearly a football fan, but I'm not, he says that the correct quote is not Preston. Can you do it on a cold, windy night in Preston? It's Stoke.
Stoke, of course it is.
Tacklew, you should know better. Okay, apologies. I'm clearly not a football fan. I never have been. So I wonder who said that. Can you do it on a cold night in Stoke? Oh, it is Stoke. Okay, there we go.
Who was it who said it?
Actually, got a great origin. It's whipped into the leg side. Should be at least a couple. May even race towards the rope. Nepal's fans cheer it on. And they're back up on their feet for the first time in a while as Arif Sheikh, the Iceman, fittingly named for these conditions, gets it away for his first boundary.
And nicely played, giving those fans something to warm up to. At some point soon, they've got to build a partnership. That was just nicely timed, a little clip into the leg side. And dive was well away.
I thought that term had been around for decades. it actually only originated in 2010, and it was with regards to a discussion about the then Ballon d'Or nominees, who were the leading footballers in the world as they were for much of that decade, Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi. And it was Andy Gray, the pundit, who I think he was on Sky Sports at the time, who first said, well, that's all well and good, but can they do it on a cold, rainy night in Stoke? And Stoke at that time were one of the best defensive sides in the Premier League. 0-0s. And yeah, there you are. So I think today, whatever it is, June 4th, 2025, problem is it's so sunny now. It looks like it's going to be sunny for the rest of the day. Might be entering the best part of the day, best part of the day's weather, to be honest. But yeah, can you do it on a blustery day in Dundee?
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, it might be the best in terms of sunshine. Those clouds have largely moved away and it's almost all blue skies now, but still that wind is...
An hour ago, I said we might not see the sun again because there was a gigantic heavy bank of really dark clouds across from where it's blowing. But because the wind is so strong, it's a lovely shot, that one. Cameraman's just given us, thank you for that. The bright blue sky, the sunshine, and yeah, it might look glorious, but it's more than a touch nippy. Vivian Kingma's sixth over goes for 6, 19 have been bowled, 76 for 3. Just give you the points table, Mel, once more. A few questions coming in about how does this work? Do they qualify for the World Cup from this league? No, not quite that, but it's part of the pathway to the 50-over World Cup. Top 4 will automatically qualify for the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup qualifier in Q1 of 2027. The bottom 4 will still have a chance to get to that event, but 7th and 8th are the bogey spots, the potential jeopardy spots, where the sword of Damocles will hang over you, because if you finish 7th or 8th and then you finish beneath in that Cricket World Cup qualifier playoff in Q1 of 2027, if you finish in that place and you finish beneath within that tournament, one of the 4 Challenge League teams that is coming up, you lose your ODI status.
Yeah, it's a big one, isn't it? It has huge implications for any countries who are put in that position. What's been really impressive about Levitt is not just that he's taken wickets, it's how tight he's kept things from the Nursery Road end. Now in his 5th over, 2 for 14.
We described him, Mel, in the Netherlands as having the bowling mindset of Curtly Ambrose, because he was running down at the batters, he was having a few words and giving them a stare. And if you get to know Michael off the pitch, he is the most mild-mannered, gentlemanly young man you will ever meet. Everything is polite as you'll honestly ever meet in your life, but he just loves bowling and loves being in the contest.
Real white line fever player.
I don't think he does anything inappropriate. He just loves bowling. Yeah. He just absolutely loves it. Speaking of the Challenge Leagues beneath this, Mel, we'll see the second edition. All 6 of those sides play 1 round robin per year for the 3-year cycle. We'll see the second edition of League A in Jersey in August.
Oh, we'll be there.
Jersey and Papua New Guinea top of the table at the moment. They're the ones in the ascendancy, but don't relate Kuwait, Kenya and Denmark. In League B, Uganda and Italy have a real stranglehold and a 6 and 4 point advantage respectively over Hong Kong in the 3rd. Tanzania and Singapore, after just 2 editions, eliminated. Singapore in a really difficult phase, kind of fallen off a cliff edge since Tim David has departed to play for Australia. And Tanzania have had a really disappointing campaign too. Hong Kong and Bahrain still technically could qualify, but I'd imagine Uganda and Italy will have enough to take the 2 spots in League B, and maybe PNG and Jersey in League A. Be those 4 teams, and UAE, being honest, with the way they're playing, they look almost nailed on for either 7th or 8th, don't they? In League 2.
Yeah, which really surprises me. Just having watched a bit of the UAE. They've just had a win over a full member nation as well, albeit in a different format. But so there's clearly the talent there. But that is the cutthroat nature of these pathway programs. If you, in the, I guess, world of full membership, you can go through a run of poor results. England have done that. West Indies have done that. They've been playing each other, and they've both had times where they've had poor runs of forms recently.
Again, Levitt just involved, isn't he? Up and about. You'd think he's bowling at 90 miles an hour with the wench. He's reacting to every delivery.
Yeah, another good over. Again, look how tight he's keeping it. 2 singles coming from it. After 5, he's 2 for 14. After 20, Nepal 78 for 3. Yeah, so just to finish that point is that teams can afford to go through a bit of a run of poor form in that top strata of full member nations. But for teams in this associate pathway system, if you do have a string of poor performances, it just has such a massive effect.
And the reality is, you talk about, I suppose, I don't know why we keep talking about football today, not my sport.
Yeah, what's happened?
Know, but you talk about, they try to offer a bit of protection, don't they, to teams who get relegated. They do these parachute payments, and that sort of stuff. You think about the kind of, probably the most notorious demise of a association is that of Kenya. The most days and more in recent times, more lows there seem to be in the way back. Argentina was Division 3, they've slid far down the rankings as well. We don't want to lose countries or, I'm not saying there is no cricket in Kenya, there's lots of it. But we would love to see them pick the rankings. Went all the way to a 50-over World Cup back in 2003. It should be a wide. I think that's too short. Yes, the umpires work in tandem to establish that. David McLean getting some help from his square leg umpire. So I love the fact that associate cricket is merit-based and there's a huge meritocracy to it. But it is cutthroat. It's ruthless. It's brutal. And we've seen, in Papua New Guinea's case, where they had all of their players full-time contracted. I think they've retained some part-time contracts since losing Cricket World Cup League 2 status. But it can be difficult to battle back from that. And, Asad Vala was nearly the leading run scorer last time around. To deal with throughout that first cycle, they only played 1 series at home because of the effects of the COVID pandemic were worse than almost any part of the world. And I don't think there's a solution. We want it to be merit-based. We want, the teams who are doing well to be rewarded, but we don't want to lose teams either.
Yeah, definitely not. So I almost think that